exciting episode of Javier in the Air. So this one is going to be a short but sweet one. I apologize to everyone who is accustomed to me getting them out on Sunday like clockwork. I was feeling a little under the weather on Sunday. Um, Actually, I was feeling really great on Sunday. But because of that, I wasn't able to get to the recording of this podcast, and I apologize to everyone for that. So I'm going to have one today. I didn't get to interview anybody this week, so it's going to be a little bit short, but I wanted to throw some stuff on there. So what you saw after the opening credits was the something that I planted this weekend. It is called what is it called? It is called. It's a carrot, but it's just the Pusa Aceta Black carrot that I picked up from Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds. They are called black carrots, but what they actually are is like really, really dark purple. So they grow between 6 to 8 inches long, and they are really, really dark, really high in antioxidants. Supposed to be really good for you, and they're supposed to taste really good too. I don't know if they taste any different than a regular carrot. We were probably, not probably, I'm going to be growing some multicolored carrots along with these black purple carrots, and then we'll have a taste off between those two and then store-bought carrots and see if the standard orange carrots that you get in the store, what is the difference as far as taste, texture, and look to it, and see what we get. Because I've never had any of these purple carrots before, so I don't know if the taste is similar. I don't know how they're going to really look. I'm not even sure if I'm going to be able to get them to grow. I like to think I can. I think I got the onions and beets and Brussels sprouts already beginning to put forth shoots. So that's a good sign. Of course, the downside is it takes anywhere from 55 to 80 days to get a harvest. So I got them in the ground like you were supposed to before the end of March, along with my pink bananas. I put in these carrots this past weekend. I started my strawberry going in the starter pots, and so you're supposed to grow them in pots indoors, and until they start, and actually you get them going, starter, i.e., and so you get that going, and then you take them outside, and I put them in some biodegradable pots. So what you do then is once you get it going, you then plant the pot, and it becomes part of the um, mulch, or whatever you want to call it, compost, to help the strawberries grow. So I have a little 4 square section ready to go for the strawberries. We'll see what we got. These are alpine strawberries, so a little bit different than the standard strawberries that we see in this area. I was not able to get the white alpine strawberries. They were out. So these are just standard red. They are more heavily seeded than we normally see around here. So it'll be interesting to see, one, if I can get it to grow, and then two, how they look and taste, and we'll do a taste test on that as well. We'll also see how good they may be in a strawberry margarita. So we'll do that. So I'm going to throw some stuff out here having to do with my neighborhood and having to do something with a cask. You saw that in the title, cask. A cask is something made of wood that usually made by a cooper or a cooper smith, and they make casks. And I was able to, thanks to my brother Robert, I was able to procure one, and I am going to do a project with it, which you will probably see over the next coming weeks. So I have that going. So there's a lot of stuff going. And I have to apologize, but because of the weekend that I had this weekend, there is no beer portion today. So those of you who always look forward to the beer, I apologize. I will have one for sure next week. And for those of you who aren't that much into the beer, you're welcome also, because now it's not gonna be there. So, all right. So let's take a look real quick before we get into the really good stuff. Let's take a look at something that I saw in my neighborhood that For those of you who may be in my neighborhood are interested to see, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so those of you who know me well enough by now and who have either been watching my podcast or have just been following me know that I walk around the neighborhood a lot. So to get my walks in, I go out to El Salito Parkway and then I work my way in various different ways. This time I was coming back from my walk on El Salito Parkway. And this individual, for quite some weeks now, has been parking here on El Salito Parkway and actually causing a visual obstruction. And I've noticed that if you are turning right or left coming off of Hickory Drive, that you are not able to really see around his vehicle. Now, he's been clamped a couple of times, and I guess he pays the fee or whatever because he's usually by Monday, Tuesday, he doesn't have, it's not there anymore. And then I see it almost every night, and then by the weekend, it gets clamped again, and so on. So this is just a more of a public announcement. If you happen to know the individual, I know he lives across the street in the fourplexes. You may want to ask him if he will find another location for it. I know it sounds like an old man beef, but it is pretty. It is quite a nuisance and causing issues with potential accidents, and I don't want to see that happen. Nor do I want to see him get clamped all the time because I'm sure it's hurting his business because he has to take the time to go to the city and get the clamp removed. So if anybody happens to know who this individual is, please let him know that perhaps he might be able to either park either a little bit further down the street, so at least it's not being an obstruction, or maybe he might know somebody who would be nice enough to let him park in front of their house, or perhaps he might be able to park it in the parking lot where he lives. All right, let's go back to Podcast Hub. Okay, enough with the old man, right? That was just my public service announcement for the week. And like I said in the voiceover, I really hate to see him get booted. I think I said locked on there, but it's booted on in this trailer every week, and it's been at least a month now that he's been doing this. So anyway, let's switch over to the lighter side of things. Here we're going to talk to we're going to get an update from Farmer James and Farmer Zaida, the Pavlowskis, 2 doors down, and we're going to see the latest update of what they got going in the garden. They are weeks ahead of me as far as planting goes, and so they are already harvesting a lot. You saw that last week, so let's catch up. Let's catch up with them with what they did this weekend.
Good morning. This is Farmer James again in the urban garden, and today we're going to be cutting some kale again and some spinach. So let's get to it. Gotta move our squirrel stop here, get that out the way. And we're going to start with the spinach. And so what we want to do with the spinach is start cutting off, just like the kale, the lower leaves. He's going to go all the way around the bottom.
Beautiful spinach.
And what you want to do is when you cut any kind of green, the best time to cut is in the morning, because that's when the green has retained most of its water, and so it actually
Look at these huge leaves.
tastes better. Another thing you can do is you can actually soak it. And that's what we're going to do this morning after we cut it, is we're going to soak it.
That's enough spinach.
Is it?
Yes.
Alright. So, let's go ahead. And now we're going to go over here to our kale. And we're going to go ahead and like we did the other day, we're going to start cutting some of the lower ones off. That's a big one. Right there. And right there.
Look at this kale.
And there's one more. Ooh, this one right here. And then, how about, ooh, look at this one. That one's really big. How much kale do we
Oh,
need?
quite a bit.
Alright, so let's go ahead and cut these.
Harvesting our crop.
One more we'll do here. And let me get, let's see, a couple over here. Big ones there. And how about this one right here? Alrighty. How's that?
That's a lot of kale.
Okay. Alright, let's go ahead. Take that in the house. Alright. So we're gonna wash this up and make some kale chips later on and use the spinach and hamburgers. So, back to you, Interview Hav.
And thank you very much, Farmer James and Farmer Zaida. And by the way, they led me to their special secret recipe of kale chips, which sounds fantastic. And if you haven't had kale chips before, they're really good. So maybe we might be able to convince James and Zaida to do a podcast or do a video of their how to make kale chips, and then I can add it to a podcast. So thanks for that as always, James and Zaida. Harvest is great. As you were talking about, Zaida, the kale and the spinach are huge, huge. I mean, unless you go to a farmer's market, you're not going to see this type of huge vegetables that they're harvesting at the store. No matter how good the store is, and stores are stores are pretty good. They get a lot of stuff too. But this is fresh, as in he cut it that morning and they used it on burgers and made kale chips that day. So they literally went from farm to table. I mean, it's not a big farm, but it's farm enough for the neighborhood and farm enough for James and Zaida. So it's fantastic. I always appreciate you giving me the video, James. And we'll keep informed with how they're doing. Maybe next time we can see what else James has got growing, so that we can see the status of it, and I'll put my status on there as well. So now I'm gonna do a little something. Let's see what else I got here. So like I mentioned, we weren't able to get any beer going, but I did want to mention this real quick. I have a quick little video of the before. So I have the guys from Texas Vinyl Fencing out this weekend. They actually came in yesterday on Easter Sunday, and a great guy by the name of Jonathan came and started putting the post holes in, and putting the post in for the fence. So I'm going to show you a little bit of the before, so you can see how the fence looked before, and then they're finishing it up tomorrow, and I will have a little video that I will add to the podcast next week. So let's take a look at the before. Okay, so supposedly today they will be coming out to replace that fence right here with a new vinyl fence. And then they're also going to do the same thing to my fence over here. And I marked it so that they know to remove it. So they should be putting the vinyl fence right there. There's going to be a gate here, and there's going to be a gate on that side. So we'll see how they do. I'm also thinking about removing this and taking it back to where it was originally, where it's even with that with the house itself. I think I'm going to do that. This tree I think has seen better days. I think, unfortunately, it was already dying, and then the cold didn't help. This one is still beginning to come back, but this tree is also one that I might have to get rid of. As you notice, I also got rid of this pestering tree right here. But we'll see how it goes. Okay, so there you see a couple of projects going on there. So update the fencing guy. Like I said, Jonathan, a great kid, came out, worked on the post holes, put the posts in, the vinyl posts in, threw some Quikrete in there. Did a slurry with some water, swished it all together, and they are now in. Um, the As you're looking at my house, on the left side is the concrete sidewalk that goes all the way to the back and goes all the way to the back to halfway to through the middle of the house, like halfway to the house on the back. And there is going to be a 4 foot wide gate there, and he's already got that part up. It's already good to go, and it's good, and it seems real sturdy. Already has lock mechanism and everything ready to go for there for me. And then on the right side, as you're looking at my house, is where the 5 foot gate is going to come into play. And that is going to be really great because I have some other items. And of course, anytime I want to do a project in the backyard and I need to bring in soil or I need to bring in prefabricated beds or prefabricated whatnot, or I just need to bring in some large items, that will be the side to bring it on. Makes sense to me. It was worth the price, or the price was worth it to do it. And it didn't cost that much difference between just putting the fence up and putting the fence with the gate in there. So it was definitely worth it to put the gate there. So for some people, they may be wondering why I'm doing it. There's a couple of reasons why. One, the two fences on both sides of the house that face the street, those parts of the fence, have both been kind of rotting away for a while, and I've been wanting to replace it. I tried to replace the door on my own, and I just didn't do it right because I would have to replace the whole post, which required me to do something more that I didn't really want to do at the time. So I was putting it off and putting it off. And so it was a perfect time to do that. Now on the other side, the fence was pretty good. It was actually a newer fence compared to some of the other sections of my fence. But I figured if I was doing one side, why not do the other? Plus, the fencing company told me, they were like, "Look, that one side is just so small. Um, we'll cut you a deal so that you can do the other side as well because it's not really worth our time to come out to just do what was all intents and purposes was a maybe a 6 foot high by 10 foot section with the gate." And so they were like, it's not cost effective for us. So we'll cut you a little break to do the other side as well. So it was definitely worth trying doing that. And the second reason was that it does add to my property value. It does add to the overall clean, fresh, refinished look of what I'm trying to get going on my house. I put the siding up last year, and it's been painted, and it does a great job. And I'm working on the yards because I love working on the yards, but it also just makes it look nice. And this is the largest investment I've ever made in anything. And so, just like I did with my truck, I want to keep it as long as I can, and I want to keep it looking as good as I can. And so, I will continue to do modifications on my house and modifications on my yards and modifications on my driveways, um, to the best extent that I can. Whether monetarily or physically myself, I will do it because I love to do it, and it's my house. So as you saw the purple doors there. That was a project I did maybe a little less than 2 years ago, but I wanted people to know this is my house, and my house, my rules. And you know what that means? Purple front doors, blue door on the back. So anything goes in my house. Anything that I say goes in my house, and that's what works out great for me. So what we're gonna do now, and thanks for my diatribe that I went on about my house. So what we're gonna do now to wrap up the show is I mentioned Cask. It's in the title. I made some mention of it earlier. So I have this cask that my brother got me, and we talked about that as well. And so I'm trying to think of what I want to do with it. So I'm pretty sure I know what I want to do. It's a project that I'm going to work on. I mentioned that as well, but I want to show you the cask and how it looks. So I'm going to do a quick little voiceover, and then I'm going to say goodbye from there. I know, unusual. I'm going to say goodbye from the voiceover, and that'll be a wrap. So thank you for listening to this podcast, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the other ones. If you haven't already listened and watched them, please go back and watch them. They are all archived on YouTube. You can follow me on Javier in the Air. You can subscribe to it as you watch the videos, and I hope you get something joyful out of it. I have a good time making them. Next week, I'm gonna try to get some. I'm gonna try to get another interview on if I can. Still trying to find some pickleball tutors. So if anybody out there knows of anybody who wants to play pickleball, please contact me. I don't want to waste your time, and you don't want to waste my time. So if you are interested in showing me how to play pickleball and have the time to do it, please contact me, and then we will schedule something. I've already tried to reach out to a couple of people, and they were dead ends. So rather than try to catch interest, I'd rather somebody who's interested contact me because I'm already interested. So let's do that. I'm always looking for new and exciting topics. So if there's anything that perhaps you garden and do that's unusual and you want to get on, let me know. Any bakery, any arts and crafts, any thing. I think I'm going to schedule something for games. This will be the second time. First time was last season. Now this season we're back with games, and maybe we'll show some different games and see what people out there like to play. So let's go to the cask, and then so I'm saying goodbye from here, and I'll say goodbye from the cask area. All right, take care. Okay, so here's the cask, and you see the bung hole right there, and yes, that is a technical term, Julia. And there, what I'm going to do, and you can always PM me or DM me your thoughts. But what I was thinking of doing is getting a uh, fireplace cask to fire pit or fire. I'm not sure exactly what I can't remember the name of it. Conversion unit. And what you would do is you would actually put holes into this and actually cut into the biggest part section there to make doors. And then you would hook up a propane tank, and then you would have fire coming off the top. So I think that'll be a really cool idea. And however, if there's anybody else has any other idea of what I should do with the cask, please let me know. I think that'd be great to hear your thoughts on it. And like I said, as the project continues, I will show pieces of it here. So here is a picture of what I'm trying to do. Let's see how it goes. So thanks again, everybody. I hope you're having a good week. I hope you have a good rest of the week. And I'll talk and see y'all again next week on my next episode of Javier in the Air. Thanks a lot.